Your dad also predicted your history in advance, because he put you in acting at an early age, look at you now.
Yeah, I know, man, you know what I mean? But really, I wanted to be a singer, not an actor or a producer or a director. I wanted to be a singer as a little kid, you know. When I went to junior high school, you know, before that, you know, it was like, oh man, oh, he can sing and everything. By the time I went to junior high school, singing was not popular. You know, singing, especially hitting high notes and shit like that, he was a bitch. You know what I mean? You a punk. You know what I mean? So that like took all the singing out of me for
people say the same thing with part of stuff on the personal, with the artwork. I didn't know you know how to do it. I mean, I should have recognized it with Universal Sham God. But it was like, all right, that's, I don't want to say, you know, masculine and feminine law, gender, a lot of people take that aspect of life as being the feminine trait.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when I learned about the cat, rat, and the dog, which is inaccurate. I didn't even want my cat anymore, the cat I had. You know what I'm saying? Went to, back then, like, you know, with Born Master, Born Everlasting had cats. I'm like, damn, he got 2 or 3 cats. You know what I'm saying? And I'm feeling like, damn, I got another cat now. Part of stuff though.
Yeah,
that's just first.
I got a couple cats, man. Anybody want a kitten? Because my cat was that baby, so I'm not getting rid of them.
Okay, good with just
You
one.
can have it.
A lot of responsibility.
With a cat.
No.
You can have it. You know,
No.
just come to the crib and just take them with you. Put them in your pocket. They're little right now.
How many months?
No.
That's a
Not
full
even
responsibility.
months.
They said 2 months.
They'll
2
be
months
2
already.
weeks on Wednesday.
They said 2 months. Then you could get him out.
Yeah, he can't lose mom yet because he's still
You don't know how to use a litter box yet, right?
nah, and he's still nursing. So
Yeah,
I just found out that mother cats eat they children's poop. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I know
I
hamsters
was like,
eat their
yeah.
children.
Yeah, they
If
do
you
the kids.
try to
You
move
don't
from
even
one
know.
case, you contaminate them, so they just suffocate
I
them.
was
and eat
like,
them.
damn, okay, cool.
You're thinking about, you saying how your dad put you in the acting and drama at an early age. You know, when we think about Yakub being the father of the devil, him having a predetermined idea and being intentional with what he did. But us reversing the polarities, you know, we have to be intentional with our seeds. And this is why it's important that, you know, little boys and girls need fathers and men in their lives. And, you know, you see like Richard Williams, you know, he was intentional. Joe Jackson, whoever, you know, that's entertainment and sports. But in more recently, the Ball, LaMelo Ball,
Right.
their father. You know, we see it all the time in sports, but you know, you could do that with STEM, anything else. And you know, you never know what they're gonna gravitate towards. You might put them in STEM and he might be a genius in playing the piano or something, but you just have to expose them to all these different worlds, and then you see what they have a natural talent and aptitude for. But if you don't expose them to it, then they probably won't know. They won't come into their greatness, so to speak. So you know, we're not worried about what Yakub did, but we have to apply the same principles as mathematics, being intentional with what we're doing, especially when it comes to raising the babies. Because you got to plant a seed in them at an early age and just give it the light and water, the knowledge and wisdom, and watch it grow.
You had, I mean, y'all were fortunate to have your dad like that to help y'all with certain life lessons and stuff, and so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, only till 11. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like, you know, you've been in relationships before. You know how relationships go, man. You know what I mean? They ain't forever. They do break up. You know what I mean? So my dad moved to fucking California when he left my earth at 11, when I was 11. You know what I mean? And then when he came back from, he moved to Africa. And then when he came back from over there, he moved on few between. You know what I mean? So,
Africa.
yeah.
That's wild.
He still got 11 years.
Zaire.
So speaking about fathers and education, you know, sharing some personal history with you too. So going back to, you know, today's mathematics, yes, today's mathematics is wisdom, knowledge, all being born to understanding. And when you look at the degree in the 140, it talks about, you know, who was the founder of unlike attracting, unlike repel, right? And it talks about this man, you know, the original man, a scientist by the name of Yakub. And what's going on right now, he had an idea, right, that he was going to father a nation. That was going to be unalike, right? And there's a lot of things that's being taught in our school systems that's devoid of teaching the original people. So we're not going to basically be able to expect anything as far as in this educational system that's basically going to help us. When I was growing up in Oasis in the desert, and when I was in 4th grade, because this is going back into the degree as well, we talk about build culture, right? When I was in 4th grade and in elementary school, my father came and he walked through the school, and I happened to go to, I was in Forest Hills. I went to school in Forest Hills in the Oasis, right? Predominantly just all colored people, right? So my dad was looking around, he's like, yo, he went to the principal, how come you ain't got no pictures of Africa or anything about black people in the walls here, right? So how do these children know anything about themselves? So first thing my dad said. And then when I got home, see how I recall this? When I got home, my dad said, I don't expect them to teach you anything about yourself, so I'm gonna make sure when you get home, you know about yourself. And my dad had a whole library to make sure I had all these books from J.A. Rogers, from, Message to a Black Man, he gave me that. He gave me How to Eat to Live, right? So I'm 15, 16 reading these books, right? Getting knowledge myself that way. But, so that's one thing as far as, in the school system, we can't just expect them to teach us anything about ourselves, because they're not. So we have to do our jobs, basically, again, as fathers, especially fathers of civilization, to basically help civilize these young children, right? So, a few other stories added on to that about the build culture. Devil did one thing, and Yakub did one thing as far as building a culture and building a nation that was unalike, that was going to do anything to basically help the Aelites and help our original people, right? When I was traveling and I was in the military, I went down to North Carolina, Fayetteville. And when I was down there, I was like, again, let me do my duty and let me go ahead and volunteer and work in the schools and help out the schools. So I went into the schools down there in Fayetteville, and they came in and did an orientation. We talked about inter-orientation. So they did an orientation. But this is a predominantly black school, right? And we're talking about 4th and 5th graders, because that's what I wanted to target. So this is what happened when they said in the orientation. They said that they build the prisons based off of the failure rates in 4th grade. Mm-hmm. And I sat back and said, damn, I heard this before, but I never did the knowledge to it. Where's the facts and the statistics and the studies on this? Why are they basically determining they're going to build prisons based off the 4th grade failure rates, right? So what's happening in this 4th grade failure syndrome, right? Where black males, original people become disengaged, and we're just no longer interested in school and education at that point. And at that point, they're in the school and prison pipeline.
Countering
Okay.
the book countering the conspiracy of destroying the black boy or black man.
Yeah, Jawaski Drew, yes. Yeah. I never did that book, but this is what they just telling us. And it was like
4th and 5th grade, that's where we start capping out.
We start capping out, right. Let me go ahead.
It was a school teacher, probably when I, a few 10 years ago, so forth and so on, kind of grew up together, where we did grow up together. And he was saying that they from the tests that they do in the 4th and 5th grade, that's how they determine how many prison beds they're gonna need. You understand, it's all systems. Mm-hmm. Solar system, prison system.
Yes.
We spoke about the systems.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Endocrine system, you know what I'm saying? Respiratory system, all systems.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm listening, oh God.
Indeed, God, indeed. So I'm just doing the knowledge, and I'm like, well, yeah, damn. The devil's doing his job, man. And that system is still being perpetuated, and it's not doing anything for us. And the other big thing they were saying in this orientation as well is that a lot of these children, they're seeing a lot of rates of abuse at home. They're getting a lot of trauma. Some of it is from the family, from family members, but things they also observe just going on around them. A lot of these children are saying, yeah, I've seen people beaten, I've seen people murdered, going on in my neighborhood. So that's traumafying as well. But then also, here's the other key point to kind of tie the whole thing together. So I talked about my father and my personal story, how my father basically, at a young age, was like, I already know that the devil's doing his job and they're not doing nothing for you. So I'll make sure you come home and I'm going to make sure you get your original teacher. My old earth was born and raised in Mecca, but for whatever reason, she didn't come into the knowledge of herself. But at least my dad was in Medina and he got it. He didn't really take and grasp the lessons of nation, gods, and earth, but he got enough to where he had enough sense to say, look, I'm gonna make sure you're straight, you know what I mean, when you grow up, and can be preserved.
That's it.
Yeah, so.
How many brothers and sisters you have?
I just got one brother.
Older?
Younger. Yeah.
That's like on
Yeah, you do better, you do better.
when Sharif, I think Sharif was saying about that the government is 100% writing his act.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, you had to build on that on your.
Right.
Yeah,
It's the government's doing what they supposed to
They
do.
doing
yeah.
something.
Right.
The government is right now acting in the world of 6.
Right.
Right.
We exist in
Right,
the,
right.
we manifest the world of 7.
Right.
Knowledge equality.
True indeed. So just to keep adding on with that, to close it up. So, yeah, my dad was there. There's a lot of, unfortunately, boys and girls of original people that don't have their fathers. There's not a lot of black teachers, black male teachers especially, in the schools, which is a problem. So that's something else they were talking about as orientation, why they need more black male mentors, counselors, things like that in the school
You
system.
gotta add a word to that, man.
Add a word, go ahead, God.
That's masculine, black male.
True indeed,
masculine.
God. True indeed, God. 100%.
Not
Right,
a
that's up.
motherfucker.
True indeed, true indeed, true indeed.
You know what I mean?
So real men, right, real men. And then another thing also that I was reading was the book by Ethan Thomas called Fatherhood.
Oh,
And, yeah, Ethan Thomas. And in that book, he said he had different chapters written by different people. He had a chapter in there from Tony Dungy, and Tony Dungy talked about, his son committed suicide, but he was doing a lot of work in the prison systems, trying to mentor and things like that. And especially, he's seeing a lot of guys coming into the NFL that he was coaching, and they missing basic civil skills on dealing with women, dealing with other people as far as in their contracts. So a lot of these brothers is young, and they missed a lot of things. They never had a debt. So this is what he said, though, that was really profound that I took away from that chapter. He said that when I'm going into these prison systems, there's 2 things I'm seeing in common with these men. They never finished high school, and they didn't have a father at home. So he says the fact that they didn't finish high school and they didn't have a father almost equaled they was going to jail. That's why they ended up in this position. So
What if you have one? Do you just never go back to jail after you get out?
that's a good question, God. Yeah.
So here's the thing, guys. Y'all, are you familiar with the ripple effect?
Indeed.
Yeah,
Alright, so, Alfonso never taught a single soul in the West.
Okay.
Never.
Right.
Alright, okay. But what he did was he put things in position that would affect things on a larger scale later,
Right.
right? And a lot of times that's what we need to do in the school system today.
True.
All right? It's incremental growth rather than monumental growth as to how we affect the change in these children's lives. Because they're so conditioned and so afraid to get that love from a man. They're so conditioned and so afraid, right? Because they are simply overlooked. When they get to school, that's the most love and attention they get all week. You know what I mean? So, with all these things that they contend with, all this trauma that they contend with, the most that you can possibly expect to do, right, is one step at a time. Incremental growth, right? Incremental change, right? The incremental change makes monumental change, even though you may not be around to see it. You know what I mean? All of us had incremental change.
Right.
That day when we was exposed to the supreme
That's
mathematics,
right.
right?
Right.
That we didn't have 120.
You
You know
gotta
what I
go through
mean?
everything has to go through the birth rate.
Correct. You know what I mean? So we be forgetting that and be wanting to make changes and pointing out all the things that's going on with these children today and all of that, when really all we gotta do, man, is incremental change. The Father said 3 things, right? We not supposed to do from what the God's told me, right? Exactly.
You said
No
that loud.
I
swine,
got 4.
no swine, no white women, don't shoot no drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 4.
For
You know,
I got
no
5.
homosexuality, plant seed away.
I got 5, right?
We got 5 too. God take no short.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So mine says name your babies righteous names, right? And don't look for God outside of self.
It was a 7.
That's me. Yo, future generations learn better, God. This is what I be teaching people, man. Shit.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.